So I had to order this set from Amazon because I could not find it in any of the stores that were near me, and as you can tell, the box came absolutely mangled. It was awful, and even worse, the box itself was actually open, and it's not like someone actually opened it themselves, it just had not been sealed properly. As you can see, the tape is not cut, it's just not holding the top flap down, so therefore the box is just open. Although I checked inside and somehow it was not missing a single bag or the instructions or anything, and I thought about returning it, but nothing was missing, so I just decided to go ahead and take what I have because there wasn't really a point to wait for a new one. But still, to Lego for not sealing this properly and to Amazon for not handling it properly, I don't think this is acceptable. But now with all of that out of the way, as you can guys see, today we're going to be taking a look at 75374, the Onyx Cinder. This set just released on August 1st with 1,325 pieces and a retail price of $140. And if you didn't know, this ship is from the upcoming Star Wars show called Skeleton Crew, set to come out in December, hence why you probably don't recognize this ship or any of the characters included. Anyways though, on the back of the box you're going to get another render of this set along with pictures of all of its play features, and then actually opening up my already open box, on the inside you're going to find 13 separately numbered bags, as well as your instruction manual and your sticker sheet in this cardboard case, with the sticker sheet having 17 stickers and the instruction manual being pretty hefty with 489 steps. The first minifigure we have up here is Neil, the minifigure that everyone has been talking about with this set. A lot of people have been hating on this figure, but I think it looks pretty cool and has a really unique head mold. If you didn't know, this is supposed to be like a kid version or the same species as Max Rebo from episode 6, and I just think it's pretty unique. It seems like it's going to be a unique character in the show, and that just makes for a really cool and unique figure. I do have to say though that the hair on the top of his head does look a bit strange. Anyways, then next up here we have Fern. This is just another one of the kids from the show, and there's not a whole lot going on here. This is a pretty nicely detailed figure that looks good for the most part, and she also has a double-sided face, and like Neil, she has a little flashlight. Next up here we have Wim, and this figure looks awesome because of his hairpiece. I just think it's really cool and unique, and I also like his torso print quite a bit, and as you can tell, he's got a pretty cool looking double-sided face that shows a sort of scared or kind of shocked look, and he also has a flashlight and a walkie-talkie. Then last for the kids, we have KB, and this figure is pretty cool looking. As you can tell, she's sort of got like a Lobot situation going on with her head print, but I think it looks pretty cool. It's got a unique hairpiece and some nice back printing, and she also has a double-sided face with the second face not having the mask over her eyes. And speaking of the mask, there is a little bit of printing that gets covered up by the hairpiece on each side as it kind of just extends all the way around her head. And then lastly, we have the one adult being Jod, who is like the leader of the kids in the show, and I think he's awesome. My favorite part is definitely that scarf piece around his neck. I think it adds some unique detail, and he too has a double-sided face as well as a pretty old school looking pistol. And I think for the most part, this minifigure lineup is about as good as it needs to be. It has the 4 main kids as well as the adult main character. I mean, I really don't know what else it could have added because I obviously haven't seen the show yet, but the trailer actually just dropped yesterday at the time that I'm recording this, and in the trailer there's 4 kids as well as Jod, so I mean that makes sense for this ship, with Neil probably being my favorite character. I just think that head mold is really unique, and Jod is probably at a close second, and actually Wim's pretty cool too because of that hairpiece. I mean, all of these figures are pretty good, but I think Neil's the best in my opinion. The ship itself is pretty interesting to say the least. It's definitely really unique compared to most of the other designs of Star Wars ships, and especially Lego Star Wars sets. As you can see here, there's quite a bit going on all throughout the ship, on the top and on the sides, and we're gonna dive into all of that. On the front here, on the left, there's this little gun that can move side to side, as well as this thing in the middle that can move up and down. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be, but it's there and it adds some detail, I guess. And then on the right, instead of another gun, there's gonna be a little light for some reason, which makes it look kind of disproportional, but it is what it is. And also, as you can see here on the bottom of this front part, it slopes down like this and looks nicely detailed. I appreciate they went out of their way to make this area look good when it could have just very easily been anti-studs. Anyways though, on the top of the front, you're gonna have this pretty cool shaped tiled panel piece, and then right behind that on the actual top, you're gonna see lots of detail as well as these white stripes that go across, and then some stickers which add some detail. However, like every sticker nowadays, they still have the problem where the actual color of the sticker is not the same color as the actual brick, and it just does not look good. I wish Lego would just find a solution to this problem already, because sometimes it really can throw off the look of sets. Anyways though, you also might have noticed that on the top here there is this little stud turret that can spin all the way around in 360 degrees, and you can fire it as you please. And then towards the back half of the top of the ship, there's just more detail and a lot more going on. These sort of transparent dome turrets right here can spin all the way around, and I think they look really cool. And then there's also another stud shooter on the back left side that can spin around, as well as this radar dish that can spin around and sort of of point up and down. Towards the back here on the left side is where you're also going to find the cockpit of the ship with even more stud shooters that you can fire as you want, as well as this little gun on the bottom that can spin around. It is kind of hard to maneuver, as you can see here, because there's not much room, but I do think it looks really cool. The top panel on the cockpit can very easily lift open to reveal a pretty simple interior with 2 stickered control panels, and as you'd expect, you can take Jod and Sim in here because I assume this is his ship and he's the one that's supposed to be flying it, and there's also room for his blaster as well. On the back of the top here, there's lots of really nice greebling and sticker detailing and just shaping in general. They did a really great job with it. I mean, obviously the sticker isn't the color it's supposed to be, but for the most part, it looks good back here. And this panel can actually like sort of lift open. I'm not sure if it's like meant to be an actual play function, but if you want to, it can move up and down. And then from there, you're going to see some nice back detailing, as well as this door or ramp that can open on the back that, as you can see here, is kind of tricky and annoying to open. But once you do open it, you're going to find 2 crates, with the smaller crate having like what looks to be a little pastry on the inside or a cake or something, and then the larger crate having what appears to be a carrot or a Star Wars carrot on the inside. The sides of the ship look really detailed as well. You can get a good look at the landing gear design, which I think is really cool, how it kind of goes from like the bottom to the top of the ship, and also the white stripes that are on the top kind of wrap around the side of the ship as well. And if you're wondering, yes, the ship does have an interior. On the right side here, you can fold the top panel up and then fold the bottom panel down to access a pretty cool interior with a little table in the middle and then a table off to the side with like a coffee pot and a drink on it, and 4 seats for the 4 kids. And as you'd expect, there's room for all 4 of them in here, as well as 2 clips at the top to hold some of their flashlights. Although I do have to say, this interior space is very crammed and hard to access. As you can see here, it's kind of tricky to get the figures in, especially the ones in the back. I mean, obviously it is possible, as you can see here. I just wish there was easier access to the interior. And then also, if you're wondering, this is what the bottom of the ship looks like. Just some detailing in the front, as I pointed out earlier, and then some anti-studs and landing gear in the middle. Now, the engines are the last thing I wanted to talk about because that's really the main feature with this set. As you can see here, all 6 of the engines have these stickers on the inside that sort of represent like the intakes of them, and then on the bottoms you're going to find the actual thrust sort of facing downwards, as well as these pretty cool looking wings that the back ones are attached to. But the main play feature is that you might have noticed earlier, there is this little switch right here on the top of the ship, and when you move it back and forth, as you can see, it sort of rotates the engines from facing downwards to facing forwards, and it's so simple, but it's so satisfying and fun to play with. And also, I just think ships that have engines like this in sci-fi in general are really cool, and it obviously works well as a Star Wars ship, and especially works well as a Lego set. Again, it's a really fun play feature that's very simple but very satisfying to play with, and it definitely makes this set. And then on top of that, the set itself is very easy to handle and pretty sturdy and does have some swooshability. Now, trying to decide on a rating and also if I should recommend this set to you guys or not is not very easy to do because obviously I haven't seen the show yet, though I do have to say it does feel like it's actually fairly priced. I mean, maybe like 130 would have been a bit better than 140, but compared to a lot of other sets in this August wave, it actually feels like it's more or less worth its price point. Although again, I haven't seen the show yet, it hasn't come out yet, so I really can't say if this is going to end up being an iconic ship or not, but I do have to say, if you want a really unique looking ship that will definitely add some character and spice up your collection, I think this might be a good set for you. But again, until this show comes out, I really just can't pinpoint on that, although I can give it a rating and I think it's really cool. The only downside is really the stickers, and other than that, I really can't think of anything else that's wrong with this set. Maybe it could include extra figures because 5 for $140 is kind of low, but at the same time, it includes all the main characters of the show, so it just makes sense to me. So I'm gonna be generous and actually give this set a 9 out of 10. The sticker discoloration and the price maybe being $10 more than it should be are really my only problems with it. Everything else is really cool, and I think this is a very unique set. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments below. If you're new, please consider subscribing, and if you want to check out more of my videos, you can see the link on the screen right now.